Okay, hello everyone. So I will be introducing you to the latest NF-Core tool release, version 3. So you all know that Nextflow is a community which holds a set of curated analysis pipelines written in Nextflow, and it also provides the Python package NF-Core tools to help with the development and maintenance of these pipelines. NF-Core started from the need to define a standard around Nextflow and to enforce the bioinformatics community to collaborate. And very early, this question arose of how to reuse the pipeline code. Nextflow solved that with DSL2, which allowed a lot of granularity. And together with this DSL2, NF-Core started collecting not only pipelines, but also modules, which are essentially wrappers around tools. And they can be chained into sub-workflows, which are small workflows to perform a specific task. All these components are available in NF-Core for everyone to contribute and to reuse into their pipelines. And this is not only for NF-Core pipelines, but also for other pipelines beyond NF-Core. You can hear the talk by Ken next to this, after this one, to hear a little bit more how to use these NF-Core tools outside of NF-Core. So as I said at the very beginning, we had only pipelines. So the NF-Core tools package was NF-Core and the name of the command. Together with DSL2, we released the version 2, where we included modules and sub-workflows. And with this version 3, we added the pipeline prefix for more consistency. So once we have all these modules and sub-workflows, the next question is how to use them and how can we write good pipelines. To solve this, and from the same need to define a standard around Nextflow, we had the pipeline template. This template includes the basic files, main.nf and Nextflow config, but it also includes some other features which are very interesting. For example, we have continuous integration testing to ensure that pipelines are reproducible. We have institutional configuration files, which are basically config files with predefined parameters for institutional machines. This makes it very easy for these institutions to run any of the NF-Core pipelines. We also enforce good documentation. We have validation of pipeline input parameters and input files to ensure that the run will be completed successfully. And finally, also code linting to ensure or enforce a similar code style throughout different pipelines. This template is used not only to help new users to the process of developing a pipeline, but also to provide updates to the existing pipelines to keep up to date with new Nextflow releases and features. So with every NF-Core tools release, when we modified the template, all the NF-Core pipelines receive an automated PR with all these changes. In NF-Core, we currently have 68 released and 33 under development pipelines. And at the very beginning, the mass of the community was very focused around genomics, but Nextflow can be applied to many different kinds of data. So the community started expanding, and now we have different topics, such as metabolomics, for example, with the MetaBoiniter pipeline, imaging with IM-Cyto or SpatialV, astrophysics with MIRPipe, earth science like Reglan, or even economics with Spinning Jenny. When all these sub-communities started appearing or being included in the NF-Core community, we identified the need to adapt and support a wider array of pipelines because we found some challenges with the template updates. A very well-known challenge when you receive this PR with all the updates are merge conflicts. For example, with the FastQC and multi-QC modules. Because the template has to be a runnable pipeline to show how to use these modules, these were the two tools chosen for this demo. But many of the new pipelines don't use these tools, so it was a little bit tricky to manually remove them from the template. With this last version, we divided the template into features This gives a lot of more granularity, and it allows you to opt out some of these features if you don't need them in your pipeline. And even though for NF core pipelines, most of the features are still required, for non-NF core pipelines, you have the option to opt out all of the features and obtain a minimal pipeline. This minimal pipeline contains like the main NF, Nextflow config, also a README, and all the Git repository files, and also the NF core YAML file, which is used by NF core tools, and is the file that allows you to continue using NF core tools, even though if you have this very minimal template, you are still able to, for example, install NF core modules. And you might be wondering, how can I create a pipeline now that I have all these many options to opt in or out? We also introduced the text user interface. So now when you run NF core pipelines create, you will see this interface, which shows you or guides you through the process of pipeline creation. You will see information, documentation of every step. You will see these kind of forms to provide all the required information for creating a pipeline. You will also see help messages describing each of the features, helping you decide if you need this feature or you can safely skip it. And finally, it also helps you create a GitHub repository to hold your pipeline, which makes things a little bit more automated and reduces the steps that you had to do manually after creating a pipeline. And what about the other commands? If you really, really like this text interface for creating pipelines and you want to use it with other commands, you have NF core interface, which will open, again, a text interface, and you can scroll through all the NF core tools commands and also see these kind of forms to run them in a point-and-click manner. Continuing with the template update challenges, another very well-known one is that every time we release a new version of NF core tools, all the PRs of the pipeline start failing because we use the latest version for linting the code, but your pipeline code is not updated yet. So with this latest version, we added the NF core tools version to your template, which allows us to use the version of your pipeline for linting, so we don't block development anymore. This was a summary of the main features of this last version, but I encourage you to read the blog post that we wrote describing these features and some more. Also, you can check GitHub for a more detailed list of changes, and of course, reach out on Slack for any comment or question you may have. And I would like to finish by turning the attention into the next steps of the NF core tools roadmap. One of the very much requested feature was to allow the use of the main branch. You may have not seen that some of the NF core repositories have already made this switch from main to master. So very soon we will allow all pipelines to use the main branch. Next, we will generate a research object crate for each pipeline. This will pack the metadata of the pipeline, such as authors or license, together with the code. Last year, we had a talk about the NF validation plugin, which has now been renamed to NF schema. So one of the things that we are going to work on also is to rebuild the schema builder command that helps you build this parameter schema to use this latest version of NF schema. And the same for the launch command to launch pipelines. And finally, we will continue updating the modules, adding some, improving the metadata, adding ontology, and also including some of the Nextflow updates, such as topic channels or Sekira containers. You also have some NF core blog posts about this and a talk by Phil in the end of the day where you can learn a little bit more. And finally, a huge thank you to the NF core infrastructure team, Matthias and Phil, and the whole NF core community, especially everyone who contributed with this latest release, and especially Matthias Zepper, who was working on the download command, and Nicholas, who was working with NF schema. And also thank you to Cedric's lab for allowing me to continue my involvement with NF Core. And thank you all for your attention.